Welcome to the Tuesday of Holy Week. Actually, I'm beginning to sense quite a heaviness around at the moment. Here in the UK, we are into the third week of our lockdown, and all sorts of concerns are beginning to be expressed by families and people in isolation all over the country. Our Prime Minister was admitted to hospital. The Queen made an exceptionally rare speech to the nation that feels a sense that deaths aren't still coming down in the kind of dramatic way we were hoping for. People are beginning to feel under pressure. Who should we trust? Where is our confidence in times like this? A particular shout out today to those of you watching in the United States of America, where President Trump has said these next few weeks, or at least this week in particular, may see a very significant rise in the number of deaths that you're experiencing. So there's a heaviness here. And in Holy Week, of course, for the original apostles and disciples, there was a heaviness too. Questions were being asked. There was an anxiety in their minds. Last suppers were being enjoyed under some pressure. A betrayal from Judas Iscariot, a denial from Peter, a sort of rigged trial leading to the events that are coming up on this Friday. So heaviness all around. So in that environment, where does our security really lie? And the answer is to be found in Psalm 91, which is our reading for the day. The whole psalm is enormously encouraging about the loving care of our God. This is the first two verses of that psalm. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. In God will I trust. Well, that's clear enough. Our security as believers is in the God in whom we trust. Now, society seems to have been putting their trust in a number of things recently. Putting our trust in the science, for example. The government's quite clear. They continue to repeat ad nauseam, we only acted in line with the science. But to be truthful, that's not quite as secure as it appears. Scientists from the beginning of this pandemic have disagreed, actually, about the way we should proceed. Only the other day, I read two completely conflicting scientific arguments about face masks. The head of the medical units in China and another one in Asia, academics, said there's no question wearing a face mask is the thing to do. Followed almost immediately by our own National Health England saying there's no evidence scientifically that wearing a face mask for the ordinary person out and about makes any difference. Now, both those scientific statements can't be true. It's just a reminder that science isn't the great, solid, utterly singular thing sometimes people pretend. And the other thing I've noticed is that people are retreating into superstition as a kind of refuge. I think I'm at 8 or 9 people now in the course of this pandemic who've said to me things like, well, I hope it'll soon be over, fingers crossed. Intelligent people, thoughtful people, people with a brain who actually have hinted that just doing this will make a difference to the outcome of this pandemic. If you think about it, is madness on almost every level. But in a time of crisis, people resort to superstition from time to time. So here we are. The science is sometimes muddled. Superstition isn't going to get us anywhere. And so what do we rely on today? The answer is, if you're feeling a bit down and a bit pressurised and concerned today, feeling the heaviness of it all, read Psalm 91. Our confidence is not in what we might hear in a news broadcast. Our confidence is in God, the God who's our refuge, the God who's been with us from the very beginning, and the God who will never let us go. The God the psalmist could trust, the God you and I can trust, and wherever we are in the world, the God whose reach extends to us. Today, enjoy the refuge which only God can provide.